my darling Fumi Nation. How are you? How are we? My name is Fumidesaluvold. For those of you that are stopping by for the very first time, you guys are so very welcome indeed. Before I continue, this might be the last time you see this studio space. That's why I'm looking a little crazy, because I've packed a lot of stuff. I've packed a lot of stuff and we are going into our new studio space. So this just might be the last episode, my darlings. This episode is it's the response of Dr. Zach. A lot of you will say, who? Dr. Zach. Look at how we forget, and that's life. If you remember, Jacky passed away, and this was the doctor that she went to for a mommy makeover. This is his first response to everything that has happened, the blowback, the backlash. This is his response.
It's Dr. Zach. Yes, my name has been in the tabloid media and understandably sensationalized given the circumstances. I want to clarify certain facts that have not been reported and are public knowledge. Please understand that due to patient privacy laws and out of respect for all my patients, there will never be mention of specifics now or in the future of any of my cases. As many of you know firsthand, my reputation in Miami for safety is exemplary. I am not willing to operate without exception on any patient if my preoperative protocols for medical clearance are not wholly met. That means another physician of the patient's choosing examines the patient and verifies that patient's fitness for surgery in conjunction with other tests and labs that I request. This is a standard protocol to ensure all aspects of a patient's health are medically considered. Since graduating from my plastic surgery residency at Brown University, I have operated on 2,000 patients, which is roughly 6,000 hours in the operating room. Every procedure is always performed to the highest medical standard, and our safety protocols are diligently observed by my entire team. The state of Florida is especially strict when it comes to any issues involving medical treatment that may not have been performed to recognized standards, resulting in a poor patient outcome. This certainly applies to procedures like those I specialize in. This oversight results in immediate suspension of the provider's ability to perform the operation of concern. My medical license remains active and unrestricted, and I remain in good standing with the Florida Department of Health. With that being said, we are currently seeing patients in the office and performing surgeries.
A very professional response. I'm not a plastic surgeon, so I don't know, but I'm under the impression that he's right for a lot of the stuff that he's saying. So, hey, it is what it is. Some of you might know, some of you might not, but my father is a doctor. He's actually a surgeon specialist, and he had his own medical practice for about 40 years before he retired. I bring that up because, like many of you that come from a medical home, not necessarily you being the doctor, but having an experience of living with people in the medical field, you would know how majority of them are. I can only speak for my dad. You know, he's the only doctor, and he's the only one in the medical field in our family. And it was very fascinating because a lot of his patients became friends, and we knew their families, and they invited us to their births and Christmases, and I can't even begin to tell you how many Christmas hampers we used to get at Christmas from different patients. And I also know that if a patient passed away, it always hit him hard. When I was getting married to Ula, I left California. I packed up California because I was going to move to Norway. But we were going to have a traditional wedding in Nigeria first. So I packed up, we shipped everything to Norway, and I had my wedding dress, couple of things, to go to Lagos. Because Ula and his family would meet me in Lagos, and we ultimately would go back to Norway together. It was a lot, you know, to pack up, get rid of, close down, you know, accounts and stuff like that. Some way, somehow, when I got to London, I had a stopover in London, and I always stayed at the Sofitel Hotel. I got to London in the AM, must have been about 6 AM. So I checked in, I think it was like £100 or whatever for that day, for that night. I checked in, I had a bath, brushed my teeth, combed my hair, put it in a bun, closed the curtains, moisturized my face with Vaseline and my hands and my feet, put on socks and jumped into bed because I was exhausted. I was so tired. I woke up, my flight was to be at around 10 p.m. So I woke up around 6 and I got ready, put on my makeup, did my hair and everything. And I decided just to, you know, look around and then go to Terminal 5, where I would find Marks and Spencer and buy all of these treats and stuff to bring back to Nigeria, most especially because my Norwegian in-laws were coming. And of course, they don't know Nigerian food, African food, so I wanted to get some stuff for them that at least we could make lovely sandwiches for them and stuff like that. You understand me? That you can just take all the way back home. Anyway, I got to Terminal 5 and I gave the guy my passport. And he said, "Madam, your passport is expired." That was my Nigerian passport. I looked at him, I was like, what kind of people are they hiring these days? I did not even look at it. And he said, anyway, go through. And he let me through. And I went through and I bought all the things that I needed at Marks and Spencer. I had, you know, read my Hello magazines, my OK magazines, all the British things that I love and I missed, you know. And I went to go and stay at the gate for us to board. It was when I got to the gate that they said, "Madam, your passport is expired." And I actually looked at it. And I had brought my expired Nigerian passport because I had renewed it. But I think because I was so exhausted, I was so tired, that some way, somehow, I packed my current passport as opposed to the expired one. And the person there called the head board, or I can't remember, but somebody of prominence there. And he said, "Desalu." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Is your father Dr. Desalu, former commissioner of Lagos State?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Don't worry, I'll put you on board. Your father took care of my mom. And when we were to pay, he didn't take the money. He said, don't worry about it. I'm so honored that I can repay him today." And that was how I got on board. And he said, when you get, I was escorted, and when I got to Lagos, I was escorted to the customs where, you know, they explained that, you know, my passport was expired. They were able to sort it out, and that was that. I bring that up because hypothetically say that Dr. Zach did everything right. I think it's a matter of, there is a part where you have ethics, you have scruples, you have principles, and you have empathy. From the moment he had heard that Jacky O passed away, he should have put out a statement to say, Jacky O came to me and said, I'm sorry for her loss. I send my deepest condolences to her husband, to her 3 children. I am a doctor, but I am also a son, a father, an uncle, whatever. And then give your speech. It would have humanized you. Because for me, it only shows that you are not the one. You are never the one. Because you didn't care. Up until you started getting blowback, backlash. And then you came up with this very empty, sandy speech. There's no point saying anything now. Because you're only saying it to save your business, to save your coin, to save your money, to save your reputation. There was nothing wrong with what Jacky O wanted. Having a baby is very traumatic on a body. I didn't know that. Because you see all the fabulous pregnancy, beautiful pictures on Instagram. On top of which, to be honest, some women are really unicorns. It doesn't affect them the way it affects others. When I was pregnant with Adrian, I worked every single day on YouTube. None of you suspected that I was 8 months pregnant. My sister came from New York to see me with my big tummy. And she said, Fumi, you've got to tell them. You do not tell them, they will not believe you. Because as much as we were sisters, we had very different pregnancies. My nose did not blow up. I didn't have big lips. I glowed. I didn't even get stretch marks. I didn't get anything. And I worked. The only thing was that I couldn't eat. I was eating oatmeal and salad and I was sucking on ice and water. Everything else I couldn't, I would just throw it up. And I had this terrible, terrible bitter taste in my mouth. And I was 49. My sister was 30 and she was sick as a dog. And you could tell instantly because she just blew up everywhere. I didn't. I did not gain a single pound apart from Adrian. That was it. So you want to have the mommy makeover because you want to be a little bit like your old self. You're happy being a mother and we should really embrace all body shapes. We should. That still does not mean that if you want something for yourself, have it. Like I have stressed so many times before, make sure you do your research, make sure you do your homework, and your doctor has all of your medical records so that they know what kind of drugs and how much of a dose they're giving you, including and plus the anesthesiologist, because it can be dangerous. And of course, having a BBL is one of the most dangerous operations you can have. I tell you why. Because my father being a doctor, when somebody has passed and they want to do the embalmment, they go right to the thigh. Yes. And they put like a big, deep syringe. I'm going to drink some water. I'm so thirsty. They put a deep syringe to drain the remaining blood. Yes, they do. It's horrible to see. That vein, if it is touched and they mistakenly put fat in it, if they mistakenly put fat in there, sayonara. Sayonara. I don't know what Jacky O had. I don't know what procedure she had. I support if you want to have plastic surgery, have it. But make sure you go to a good doctor. And while Dr. Zach is justified to stand up and protect his business, I was just heavily disappointed because it just glaringly made it obvious to me he don't give an F. And he's not the kind of doctor that will call you to follow up on the procedure 3 months after, 6 months after. He's not the kind of doctor that will say, no, I don't think you should have this. I think that is too much for you. I don't think you need this. That was not the doctor that showed any empathy. He just goes in and does what he gotta do. You want it? Okay. Huh. There's no doctor-patient relationship. You have to have a doctor-patient relationship because that is when you'll get the best results because somebody's caring for you. Because you see, how Jacky O passed away was sad. The children will forever not have their mom. That to me is the worst. It's the worst. And I know that if she could have had any foresight, she would never have done it. But for Dr. Zach to come out and speak the way that he did, and even in his speech, not even declare any empathy to the family, is in very bad taste. It's in very bad taste. It just really showed he did not care. And so, I'm not surprised if there wasn't or very little aftercare. Be very careful, guys. Be very, 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 very careful. Do your research. Think about it. Lose the weight or use alternatives before that's a last resort. And make sure to be careful to whom you go and trust. And the last person you see before you go under anesthetic, you just might not come back. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, hit the notification button, and I will see you in our new studio.